The year is 2005. Pope John Paul II is dead and his funeral is held in Vatican City, and we've all just watched Me at the Zoo, the first ever video posted to YouTube. But in between all of that, the original Xbox console is flourishing. 2005 saw games come to the Xbox like Ninja Gaiden Black, Forza Motorsport, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, but amongst all of those critically acclaimed games lay a game born from a surprising concept that came from a focus group study that yielded surprising results. That game is Raze Hell. Developed by Artex Studios and published by Majesco Entertainment, the game centres around Raze, the playable character that fights against cuteness? What? You might think this would mean the game is targeted towards children, but ESRB gives the rating an M for mature, and I've also heard it's rated 18 plus in Germany. No, the game is not for children, as we see early on. From the get-go, we're introduced to the Cullets, a race of creatures that live a cute, perfect utopian lifestyle from within their own province in the strange world we'll find ourselves in. Their leader, the princess, she has no other name, it's just the princess, has decided that they should share that lifestyle with other creatures of the world by force. So, they militarise quickly and begin their epic campaign to save the other inhabitants. Raze, who we get very little information about aside from the fact that he lives in a village that presumably doesn't have any public toilets as he appears to be alone in the woods, comes back with nothing on him for some reason, to find his village being saved.
But there was no help there.
I'm absolutely getting bodied. Power. The Cullets have decided that anything that isn't cute or is ugly should be saved, and if you haven't figured it out yet, saved in this sense means destroyed. That's right, the Cullets are fascists. Raze is clearly supposed to be one of these ugly creatures, which is great because it means he's instantly relatable.
Look at this dude.
As he escapes back into the forest, he comes across a strange artifact that grants him immense powers. How convenient. It changes his clothes, his armour, his body. It changes him into a vicious killing machine, apparently equipped with a left arm lance or sword type thing, and another ability that we'll see in a second.
Whoa, easy. I'm not going to hurt you. Not that I could on the,
It's here we're introduced to Slivh, and if you thought Raze was ugly, just wait till you see the cursed nature that whatever relevant deity truly should have scrapped when he created all things. I mean, his wings are disproportionate to his body. I don't think it's physically possible for him to be able to fly, and even if he could, he shouldn't be ugly, he should be absolutely jacked with all that flying. He has legs, why doesn't he just walk? Do his legs not work? It's not explained. Regardless, he, reminder, we have never met him before, conveniently knows everything and helps us to become familiar with our newfound power, starting with using the left trigger.
What the hell?
To fight. Yes, the left trigger on the back left of the controller. Not the X button, not the A button, or even the right trigger, the left one. I found this strange. I mean, I guess it makes sense since his arm blade is on his left hand, but still. Look at him putting his fist up, like. Oh. Oops, I forgot to put that there. He goes on to say he has his own set of skills.
Skills I have acquired over a very long career.
And that he can mark the way to go, and that we should see it in our mind's eye. Our mind's eye just turns out to be the level map, and I guess he set a map marker to show us where to go. This is fine. It is a good way of having the map and map markers part of the lore, but it doesn't make much sense later on in a part where Slivh gets captured and isn't even present for like a few levels. So how do we get the map markers and stuff? And he doesn't set us any markers to take us straight to him to save him. I don't know. Of course, as soon as we're out in the open, I tried to do the right thing and put Slivh out of his existential misery, but to no avail. I guess you'll just have to continue your cursed existence, Slivh, you little rascal, you horrible, deformed, terrifying, sickening rascal. Anyway, after this, he introduces us to our other ability, shooting squibs. Squibs, it seems, are a sort of sentient plant that our people would eat, but apparently they have a true purpose. You see, Raze has never touched a cigarette in his life and presumably is an Olympic-level swimmer, as he has the lung capacity of the Hindenburg, but with less explosions. He sucks up the squids, like inhales them, which he can then shoot out of his mouth like an AC-130 killstreak. And there are other squibs of varying different colours that basically serve as different weapon types. The blue ones are rapid fire, the yellow ones are a sort of single fire zoom in type, there are red ones that explode, green ones that are basically a sniper, there's a shotgun, a flame one. It's quite the arsenal. Of course, after I've acquired the AK-47 of halitosis, the first thing I tried to do was decimate one of the locals, which actually went well, and he exploded into a pile of guts. This is important actually, as guts, or giblets, serve as Raze's way to heal from combat, as we immediately learn in the next encounter with culets. We then learn that we can roll to move faster, and we can even roll into culets to cause damage, which you might think is really handy, but you really just end up getting shot a whole bunch. There's no dash or dodge ability, so it's either roll like you've been fired out of a cannon or a Sunday morning jog. We fight more culets as we progress through the environment. There's this cool part where a culet gets smeared onto the camera POV as I roll into him. It's all jolly good fun. So the question at this point is this: why are we fighting cute creatures in a brutal action game? No, I'm not talking about the plot. We've already established that the culets are on their own version of the Third Reich, but what I mean is, why did Artec make a game like this? Well, it apparently comes down to a focus group they held presumably sometime in 2002. According to the Wikipedia page...
Wikipedia? You're using Wikipedia as your source of information?
Focus groups had positive reception to hidden features Artec added to children interactive products, such as setting cute characters on fire. I'm not sure what the category of children interactive products qualifies as. I did Google the phrase and it predictably showed me a bunch of children's toys, little robots and things that when you speak to them they speak back and copy your voice and such. So this leads me to believe that Artec made kids' toys that apparently had a hidden button that would just set the toy on fire, purely for the accidental delight of the parents. Artec Digital Entertainment, or Artec Studios, was a video game developer formed in Canada in 1982, so no toys then. They had made quite a few games before Raze Hell, including a Monopoly game, a Jeopardy game, and a Wheel of Fortune game. So similar. I don't know where the jump from game show game to brutally murdering cute creatures is, but maybe in a Monopoly game you could commit arson and insurance fraud. Not sure. So after they had a focus group for their other products that received a different reception than they were expecting, they obviously asked, how can we work on this? And decided to make Raze Hell under the same basis, that being the brutalisation and maiming of cute creatures, and the justification coming from the fact that those cute creatures were horrible, cold-blooded fascist killers. As we continue progressing through the game, we're just sort of given random plot points, such as following a truck that we hope contains a prisoner. No other backstory or context is provided, just that. Slivh just kind of just knows. Maybe he's seen it earlier. That isn't told to us. It's just truck, prisoner, kill. It's at this point that I die for the first time, instantly teaching me that the game can't be played by just running and gunning. There's clearly a strategy to employ here that includes firing from cover, almost exclusively to be honest, and selecting targets to eliminate one at a time. The enemy types in the game are quite varied and introduced bit by bit throughout the story. There's your standard grunt, foot soldier, and a more powerful variant as well. Snipers, rocketeers, there's these weird giant bears that throw explosives. There's these tower turrets that just hate me, they're unforgiving. There's these cool Halo ODST type enemies that summon the power of the Bifrost to enter the battle, appearing from a beam of a rainbow equipped with his mad T-51B power armor. They're cool to see, a bitch to fight. We move on to destroy 2 mortars that are battering down on an empty field for some reason. Slivh tells me to pick up some nukes.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Which is weird because why are there nukes just lying about? The first one is next to this innocent victim's hut. R.I.P. You'll be honoured in the new era. How does Slivh know that there are nukes just lying around? Also, look at these goofy ass stacks of dynamite that apparently contain 500,000 tons of TNT. Whatever. I'm killed again. We reload. I try not to kill that guy this time. Maybe I can actually spare this dude this time.
Use the nukes on the mortars.
Get a 25 kill streak twice and acquire 2 nukes, and I'm on my way to blow up 2 mortars. With nukes. I just walk up to the mortar and plant the nukes, and they explode like a normal C4 device. Not that I've ever seen or handled C4, but I've played Call of Duty, and I studied World War II in high school, so I'm pretty confident on the damage a nuke would cause. So, how does this game feel to play? The pacing of the game is quite decent, constantly throwing enemies at you from each corner and a variety of ways to kill them. There are environmental uses to utilise, like explosive barrels and such, but I mostly just shot enemies one by one until they were dead. It's only 3 levels in at this point, but it's all bleak and brown, desert-like textures and the same enemies over and over, with a plot that barely exists, carried by a deeper story of the culets. Plus, there is some sort of primal feeling deep inside me that does enjoy the destruction of something I'm supposed to consider cute. Overall, the game's strongest point is its aesthetic. I get that the brown desert setting is meant to be a striking contrast to the culet's bright colours and funny dialogue, and we even see later on in the game that their utopia, or Qtopia, is extremely different from Raze's homestead, with bright green grass and tall buildings. Even the sky is different. But I feel there could have been more settings, like maybe a swamp. We don't really meet other people or races, and there's no explanation or lore building on this. We do meet some other creatures or people that are being attacked by the culets, but they only serve to offer a bit of substance for the mission or suddenly explain important plot points, like when they name drop a guy called Nihilus, which Slivh's only response is, "What? That's not me," and that's it. Later on we do meet Nihilus, and he's a Hugly. Oh yeah, Slivh and Nihilus are Huglies, which is an ugly culet. It's basically a deformity. But he ends up betraying us to the princess, and not only an obvious plot point, but also one that they spoon-feed us as if we haven't ever eaten before, ever. It's at this point that I started to get bored. The environment became extremely repetitive, apart from this one section that's set inside a cave system where there's an artifact we have to construct, and it summons a thing. It's never explained who or what this is. It's just sort of a guy. And then there was this part where I walk into a room, get buff out from the weird artifact dude, and then get absolutely bodied over and over again. I literally cannot work out how you're meant to beat this part. If you hide behind cover, the cover gets destroyed, and you get destroyed. Honestly, I gave up here and checked to see if the game had cheats, which it does. There's an infinite health and infinite ammo cheat that simply requires you to hold down the left trigger and input the correct button pattern. I enacted sweet revenge on the idiots inside the room and decided, you know what, I'm going to keep these cheats. I kept going, killed some culets, ignored the artifact guy because he gives you temporary buffs to your character, but it's pointless since I have the cheats on, ate some soup my girlfriend made, and played on. We freed a guy called Craig found out Nihilus betrayed us and is actually the son of the princess. Some guy was playing Splatoon, and then we blew up a bridge. Cool. The rest of the game sees us complete similar tasks as we advance towards the Culex home turf of Utopia, which is much cooler and a nice change of setting. As I mentioned previously, bright green grass, bright colours, completely different environment. And at the end, we battle the princess in a subpar boss battle that involves us damaging these pillars that bring down her shield, but then she just sort of runs away and we confront her in our castle.
You wouldn't hit a lady, would you? We can make a deal. Would you like money? I have scads of money. Stocks, bonds, jewelry. No, jewelry's no good. I know. A beautification operation. Okay. A little Botox, you'd be a right handsome devil. Okay, stop. Well, that's damned inconvenient. What are you looking at? What? Oh, this. It hasn't been very easy keeping up appearances, let me tell you. But what's a girl to do? If you kill me, though, you'll have to deal with him, and he's the real monster, not me. Oh, dear. Let this be a lesson to one and all. Don't have children. They're evil. They're evil. Oh, they're evil.
That's right, the princess was a Hugly the whole time, and her expansion into the other lands of the world was actually an attempt to find magical artifacts so that she can restore or change herself so that she's beautiful. And that is Raze's Hell. So, what's good? What carries this game is its unique aesthetic and its dialogue. The dialogue is quite funny in both cutscenes and when you're fighting enemies in a battle. That said, the game came out in 2005, and the humour from back then definitely rears its ugly head.
I wonder how you spell jihad.
What? Did you just say, I wonder how you spell jihad?
Did you say something, Maya? I was just choking on your aftershave. Oh, I'll give you something to choke on. That thing couldn't choke a chihuahua. Oh, you know. Remember your job interview? Prick. Slut. Dick. Bitch.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
There's also this scientist, Culet, who is German. Just because.
Wait a second. I have a better idea. Jawohl, mein Princess.
I mean, they might be hinting at something here, maybe. The aesthetic is great too, with the Culets emboldening this cutesy pinks and blues, cuddly toy sort of look, juxtaposed by their militarization, carrying around heavy weapons, flying helicopters, operating mortars and such, stocking nukes. But the game falls flat on its repetitive environments and gameplay, and its lack of plot. I'm not really invested in Raze as the playable character. I'm more relating to Slivh, not because he has dialogue, but because he alleviates to other motives that he has in the story. That, and he's fuck ugly, so we share more in common than we might think.
You're ugly, you're disgusting, I'm going to kill you, give me $200.
I also literally couldn't care less about the other inhabitants since they offer nothing more than just cannon fodder for the Culets. I think if they remade the game, or made a sequel or anything like that, they don't have to change anything about the Culets. They're perfect for the game. Just maybe dial back on the crude dialogue, but still kept it sharp and humorous. Change up the early environments and keep them fresh. Either changing them completely, like to a swamp, as I said earlier, or developing them as we go through them, and develop the plot more. if they made the game today like that, I don't think it would be a sellout sensation, but I think in 20 years there will be people looking back saying, hey, remember playing Raze Hell 2024? That said, here I am, making this video 20 years later about the original game. So, what do I know?